village evacuated as flood levees fail along Murray River in South Australia. Dozens of homes and 2 caravan parks have been evacuated in South Australia as the flood levees continue to fail along the Murray River. The State Emergency Service has evacuated the island village of Walker Flat, east of Adelaide, after it was cut off by the deluge on Christmas morning. It warned people not to go into the flood zone, which may be further inundated in the coming hours. Anyone remaining in, or entering the warning area may become isolated or flooded, the SES said in an alert on Sunday. Anyone remaining in the warning area should evacuate to stay with family, friends, or alternate accommodation in areas unaffected by flooding. About 100 kilometers northeast, the Kingston-on-Murray Caravan Park has been evacuated after the flood levee there failed and water started flooding the property. The historic Overland Corner Hotel, about 7 kilometers north of Kingston-on-Murray, could also be inundated after a flood levee failed at the heritage-listed pub, which was built in 1859. Upriver, the levee at the Renmark Riverbend Caravan Park also failed on Christmas morning, triggering an evacuation of the property. There is a risk of flood waters threatening the safety of people in the park, the SES warned. Park residents and visitors have been evacuated and should not re-enter. The park is closed until further notice. Levees are continuing to fail and 2 warnings are in place along South Australia's Upper and Lower Murray as communities prepare for the flood peak. About 4,000 properties across the length of the river are expected to be inundated and more than 1,100 have been flooded so far. An estimated 255 businesses and 4,000 hectares of productive agricultural land will also be impacted. SA Emergency Services Minister Joe Jacot said the high water mark would reach Renmark on either Christmas Day or Boxing Day. The river will then peak at the town of Waikerie between December 29 and January 9, Swan Reach between January 2 and 13, and Murray Bridge between January 3 and 14. River heights are likely to be around those experienced during the 1931 floods, but still well below record levels experienced in 1956. Earlier this week, all non-essential activity including recreational boating, fishing, and swimming were banned on the Murray as a safety measure. Premier Peter Malinauskas said the state was prepared for the big water event. The peak of the river flows going through Renmark will occur at some point in the next 48 to 72 hours, and that peak will be just above the 1931 flood level that was experienced close to a century ago, Mr. Malinauskas said. This is a big water event, it does present challenges, but we are as better prepared as we've been for any other circumstance like this in the state's history. There are exceptions to the prohibition, with people requiring access to the river for work, including tourism operators or those visiting their properties able to do so. The supply of food and other provisions will also be allowed. Police will work to educate the community about the new rules, but those who persistently breach the ban could face a fine of up to $10,000. Stance like this in the state's history. There are exceptions to the prohibition, with people requiring access to the river for work, including tourism operators or those visiting their properties able to do so. The supply of food and other provisions will also be allowed. Police will work to educate the community about the new rules, but those who persistently breach the ban could face a fine of up to $10,000. Face a fine of up to $10,000.